All right, Shalom. Good. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the Judgements Houston camp. And real briefly, I want to go into a couple lessons, not a couple lessons, but a couple videos, touching on some this hurricane news that's been going on. Um, Now, as we see, you had Hurricane Helene that just hit, parts of Florida, North Carolina, a little South Carolina, Georgia, so on and so forth last week, right? And you got people who going through it out there, especially in North Carolina. I seen videos and I'm gonna have a quick video play from this woman in North Carolina. But if you look, man, North Carolina going through it. I'm talking about full houses floating down the street. It's been streets that the water have caved in a road, and not a road is a river. So they going through that. But now we see, as the title says in the lesson, the Lord is sending hurricanes as judgments, and it will only get worse from here. Now, even when you consider the times when the Lord said, and we're gonna start with that precept first, but the Lord said that it will be like a woman in travail, a woman giving birth. That's how he about to send these plagues. Now considering that you just had last week, Hurricane Helene caused major damage. People, now, and consider this: people are still millions of people, up to hundreds of thousands of people to millions of people are without homes, without cars. I would say electricity, but shit, without a home, then what's the use of it anyway? No, some people don't know where their family members at because they dead. That's another thing in North Carolina. They saying it's just bodies floating in the water, bodies up in trees since the water was that high, you know, so on and so forth. But now the Lord bringing another hurricane on top of that one a week later, a couple of days later, and it said that this one gonna be worse. Now this one's supposed to hit Florida, and it's gonna cause damage to surrounding areas. Now it's called Hurricane Milton, and we spoke about it briefly last week for the Thursday live, right? You got Hurricane Milton about to hit. Now this the path of it is heading towards like Tampa, you know, and pretty much supposed to run through Florida. But what they saying is this hurricane, it went from a tropical storm and within an hour to a category 3, within another hour to a category 4, and then 30 minutes later it was a category 5, which that's not normal. And for one of the Thursday lives, we also mentioned, let's get a precept first. We also mentioned how before hurricane season, they said that this was going to be an unpredictable hurricane season, you know, unpredictable and a historic hurricane season. But let me get this real quick and we can get into the lesson. This second Ezra 16, and I'm going to start at verse 35. It says, "Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. Behold, the word of the Lord, receive it, and believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake." It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack." Right? The plagues coming. The Lord ain't just got the prophets talking forever. Eventually, these things gonna happen. It says, and it's about to give a similar to on how the Lord gonna bring these plagues here in the last days. It says, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when, liken unto this, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb. Which pains, when a child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. You see that? So the closer we get, or should I just like a woman giving birth, she have those contractions. They spread out, they got some minutes between them at first, and it's painful, but not as bad as it can get. But the closer that child get to coming out, being delivered, guess what? Those pains go get closer together. Instead of 8 minutes apart, not 2 minutes or a minute apart, and they hurt more. Well, that's how these plagues about to be for the world, man. The closer Yahweh get to coming to this earth and deliver his elect, the events we about to see about to be back, eventually gonna be back to back. The last event we ain't gonna have to say, remember 4 years ago it was CV? No. And for an example, the Lord sent a hurricane last week, did some damage, put people to death, got these Edomites in fear. And that's another thing. The Lord about to start judging these Egyptians. I'm talking about these Edomites, man. Just like he did when we was leaving Egypt. A lot of these plagues about to be pinpointed towards, Americans in a whole. Yeah, you have Israelites, within that, but it could be pinpointed towards these Edomites, these heathens. Right? But nevertheless, we have an example of a contraction like plague. Last week, the Lord sent the hurricane to kill a lot of people and do a lot of damage, and he backing it up with a worse one. With a worse one. So it says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. So see, they ain't slowing down for nobody. The Lord don't care that it was last week and you ain't get electricity yet. He's sending another one. You see, he don't care that people still starving and don't know where their family members at. He's sending another one. They ain't slack. They ain't gonna wait on nobody. It says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth. The world shall mourn and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. And it says, oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle. And that's what we did. We heard the word. Now we're preparing ourselves. And it says, and in those evils be even as pilgrims on the earth. So let's go ahead and play a couple of videos. Like I said, hey, the Lord sending these things as judgments, and it's only gonna get worse. He ain't letting up for nobody, man. Let me go take that. Okay, we good. So this first video is from Dabu 7. Right, Dabu 7. This was put out 17 hours ago. And it says, Alexa predicts Category 5 Hurricane Milton causes widespread damage, state of emergency, and wild NOAA flight. Right now, this thing with the AI, they got Alexa already predicting the outcome or the effects of Hurricane Milton, and she's saying it's bad. Let's play it.
This is Dabu 7. A heads up for folks in Florida, as we now have a Category 4 monster storm rapidly intensifying.
And see, it was a Category 4 17 hours ago. Now it's 5. Right now it's 5. Which they said once they hit land, it could die down to 3. But hey, the damage is going to already do, because remember Katrina was 5 and then it hit land and died down to 3. Which, the levees, that's what contributed to that water, the flooding. But anyway.
Heading for Florida. They're saying that this will become a Category 5 here at any time. It's just a couple miles an hour away from it, but definitely by this evening. What a curious pattern. The NOAA is flying over the region, wouldn't you say? And with all the weaponry and modification going on out here with these storm systems, we've caught them cloud seeding ahead of Harvey before. I'm looking to see if I can find anything on that off the coast of Florida right now. But this thing picking up steam and heading right for Tampa Bay, St. Pete Beach. You can see where it sits right here by 8 o'clock this evening. It will definitely be a Category 5. That could happen at any moment. By the time we even have this video posted, it could become a Cat 5. This Hurricane Milton is undergoing one of the fastest rapid intensifications ever observed in the Atlantic Basin, going into the Gulf there. At 155 miles an hour right now, as at a Category 4 storm, just 2 miles an hour away from the Category 5 status. Not a single weather model predicted that this storm would strengthen this quickly. It's predicted to land at 125 miles an hour at a Category 3 near St. Pete Beach Wednesday evening. But this thing has dropped millibars. Somebody said up to 9 millibars within an hour, which is this turbo intensification. You can see this thing spin up right there super spin up. They're saying it dropped like 9 millibars when just 1 millibar an hour is a decent pickup. So this thing just exploding. And could someone explain to me how Alexa already knows what the storm's going to do? This is the crazy stuff with AI and everything that's going on. Listen to this.
Alexa, what kind of hurricane was Hurricane Milton?
From fandom.com. Hurricane Milton was an extremely powerful Category 5 hurricane that caused widespread damage across its path in October
Widespread
2024.
damage across its path. It hasn't even happened yet. And you just heard it say October of 2024. Is this thing like predicting outcomes? Or what? What do we have going on here with all this madness surrounding the storm already?
So I'm gonna stop that there, but you see Alexa, with the Siri thing, this AI, they already predicting it to be a bad hurricane, for lack of better words, But let's play this next video real quick. Now, this is a woman she in North Carolina. Now, this her page, the Aeroponic Tower channel. Now, she in North Carolina. She do like this day-to-day vlogging on what's going on. So this is from 2 days ago. It was day 7, day 8. I'm gonna just play like 2 minutes of this video. The reason I want to play this because reality hit this woman so much so she said, "I believe in a flood." She said, "Look, I believe in a flood with Noah because how the landscape changed out here from this one hurricane hitting." She was like, "Yeah, but the point is the damage is bad." Now I ain't gonna play much because I watched a good bit last night, but I ain't gonna play much. I'll throw it in the chat. But just to show what's going on in North Carolina right now. Look, let me see. The Lord's sending more damage. Uh, let's see. Let's just see if we can get some pictures, and I'm gonna play a video. But the point is, the Lord's sending another hurricane that way. Now it ain't gonna be literally going up towards North Carolina, but the path of Florida, Georgia, it might turn up. Who knows what's gonna happen? But there's a couple of videos from North Carolina. I mean, a couple of pictures, right? Again, family members gone. Pretty much, they already started. They I don't want to say Jacob's trouble, but they in those movies like The Road. They struggling. They suffering right now. While people getting up, going to work today, these people waking up looking for family members, waking up trying to find gas to get out and leave, trying to find food. And Kamala go say, "I'm gonna give y'all $750." But look, stuff like this what Hurricane Helene did to roads, full roads, knocking them off, changing the landscape of cities. So let's play a little bit of this woman video.
Here, so I am going to, today is day 9, post-Hurricane Helene, Western North Carolina. I'm going to do sort of a quick recap at the intro of this, and then I'll just take you along.
Let me speed it up a little bit.
For some clips on what day 7 and day 8 looked like. I tried to record yesterday, and you just, at the end of the day, like, my brain wasn't comprehending. So day 9, today is Saturday, and we're kind of getting our house in order here. You're going to hear low crop planes going over, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So just taking a break, and then I will head to downtown Marshall and work this afternoon. I'm hearing on the news like Asheville is the topic, and I just want to kind of paint the picture of what we're dealing with here and kind of what is going on. Little crop planes. Those are new as of 2 days ago. We've had a lot of rescue helicopters and now supply helicopters getting resources in the mountains because people, we've gotten very resource heavy since I would say day 7. Resources rolled in with a vengeance in tons of areas, but not everyone can get to the resources. So there's a lot of people, bridges out in the hollers. They can't get across the waterway. They just can't get out. Roads are gone. So we have resources, but not everyone out there can get them. So there are crews with ATVs. There's been helicopters, rescue helicopters, all civilian led, 100%.
Oh, and now mind you, FEMA telling people we ain't coming to help y'all. FEMA said last week we out of money. We can't help y'all no more. So And what's FEMA job? Why they here? Well, what's their purpose? Should I say that? Well, when you have disasters or emergencies, FEMA's supposed to be there to aid the people. You know, to aid the people, whatever, healthcare, whatever, food, water, drinks, shelter, whatever it may be. But they saying we ain't got money for that. And this after you send all this money to Ukraine and Israel and this and that, and now you telling your own citizens you ain't got money. So FEMA, the government telling you ahead of time, we ain't gonna be there to help you. So what she's saying right here is citizen led, right? The government ain't there.
Foods are gone. So we have resources, but not everyone out there can get them. So there are crews with ATVs. There's been helicopters, rescue helicopters, all civilian led, 100%. I think there might, like, I'm not out there, but I'm only seeing civilian led things happening. So amazing.
See, just like the movies, the people who had to do it on their own.
Oh, that's amazing. The way people have come together and just like established systems so quickly. So the talk is like Asheville. And just so you know what we're dealing with here, and I keep hearing people call this like biblical proportions. That is so true. Like I watched, it makes sense now when you think all the way back to the flood and how the landscape changed, because I watched in a few hours roads turn into rivers, and not just turn into rivers like they flooded. I mean, the road is gone and it is now a river. So it just changed. So
You hear that? This her look at her eyes. This hurricane made her believe in the flood. Yeah, this hurricane made her believe in the scriptures. That's cold, man. Because she's seen it with her own eyes. Look at her. Look at her face. She's seen it with her own eyes how a road that she drove on a day before is now a full river running through her city, her backyard. Yes. People real life struggling. Though we on YouTube right now, people out there waking up probably ain't even sleep yet because they flooded out in these parts of America. The point is the Lord bringing another one tomorrow. Hurricane Milton expected to hit sometime Wednesday, tomorrow. Let's see what this one go do. Let's play a little more.
so many things, like people's houses, roads turn into rivers.
Oh, but yes,
and not just
she said of biblical proportions. What we said in 2 Ezra 16 again, in verse 39, even so shall not the plagues be slack that come upon the earth. The world shall mourn and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Biblical proportions.
turn into rivers like they flooded.
I'm gonna play that back one more time. I'm gonna move on.
It makes sense now when you think all the way back to the flood. Talk is like Asheville. And just so you know what we're dealing with here, and I keep hearing people call this like biblical proportions. That is so true. Like I watched, it makes sense now when you think all the way back to the flood and how the landscape changed, because I watched in a few hours roads turn into rivers, and not just turn into rivers like they flooded. I mean, the road is gone and it is now a river. So it just changed so many things, like people's houses. Not only are the houses gone, but the land that the house was on is gone, and now the riverbank there is just wider, and it's a riverbank. So incredible stuff. So Asheville is a small, we are Western North Carolina. We are northwest of.
You see that? Their whole life changed out there. Let's play a little bit of this one.
Millions of people here in the United States are preparing for mass evacuations. And this is happening just weeks after Hurricane Helene took the lives of over 220 people. Right now, millions of people are being told that a category.
Before we get that, let's get a precept. This is Isaiah 29:6. We're going to read the KJV first, but I'm going to get another translation because it actually say hurricane. Isaiah 29:6, KJV first, it says, thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts. Now, when the Lord visit is for judgment. Like I'm thinking of 2 Ezra 9, when he says, when you shall see earthquakes in diverse places, uproars of the people, then you shall well understand that it's a time that the Most High is visiting the earth. But it's going to go into some ways on when the Lord visit, and which is by judgment, some of the mechanisms he can use when he do bring judgment. Because again, people think it's just the Lord got to send an angel down to kill somebody, or have somebody shoot another person, and no, the Lord could use his own creation as judgments. What people say Mother Nature or natural disasters, no, that's the Lord doing that. So it says Isaiah 29:6, thou shalt be visited of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and with great noise, with storm and tempest, and with the flame of devouring fire. Let me get this one. This is the Young's literal translation. It says, by Yahweh of hosts, thou art inspected with thunder. So when the Lord sent thunder and lightning strike people, guess what? That wasn't random. That was a hit. It says, thou shalt be inspected of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and with great noise. And what else? And hurricane. So hurricanes is a part of biblical prophecy for these things to happen. Now, people think it's Mother Nature. No, Mother Nature ain't. No, this the Lord sending direct judgments towards Babylon the Great. You know how he sent all these plagues toward Egypt before it went out? These are some of the things that's used to cripple Babylon, to cripple America. Let's see if we got another one. It's the Aramaic Bible in plain English version. It says, from before Yahweh of hosts, you shall be visited in an earthquake, in thunder, and in great noise, and in tearing out of the hair, and in a hurricane, and in a flame of burning fire. So earthquakes, hurricanes, thunder, lightning, rain, fire. The Lord sent that for judgment, as judgments, man. So that's in the scriptures. These hurricanes are a part of the Bible. Let's play this though.
Category 5 hurricane. This is Hurricane Milton. It went from a Category 3 to a Category 4 to now a Category 5 in just a matter of hours. This is causing many people to panic, and people are now fleeing the state, trying to get somewhere where there will not be hurricanes, there will not be excessive wind, there will not be a storm surge, nothing. So I want to break down what's going on, the news that has just come out, and why so many people should be concerned. So I'm break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing: is the
we're not subscribing.
5 hurricane that hit the United States, or essentially the Florida Panhandle, was Hurricane Michael back in October of 2018. Now I want to show you some of this stuff. Look at this. It says Hurricane Milton tracker: storm strengthens into dangerous Category 5. Florida prepares for massive evacuations. It says the storm has quickly intensified as it makes its way toward Florida.
Oh,
Now,
remember that they preparing for mass evacuation, so people leaving. But that's an issue now, because when we play the next video, they ain't got gas. They ain't got gas. And then where you going? And the report is where they going, because the places that surrounding Florida was just, partially or destroyed by Hurricane Helene that hit last week. So where you gonna go?
I'm going to get into this in just a moment, but I want to show you something, okay? Here's what I want to show you. It says Hurricane Milton explodes into a Category 5 on track to Florida Gulf Coast. Now, I don't want to just alarm people. I want to give you the facts. It also states that Hurricane Milton could weaken before landfall, but it could also grow. Here's what that would mean. I want to read this to you. It says Milton is forecast to weaken a bit before making landfall, but it will also grow in size and expand its life-threatening impacts over a larger area as it does. So keep in mind, it will not be as intense, but it will be larger, okay? So the scale is going to be larger, but the intensity is going to be weakened. Now let's keep reading this. It says this symptom is still likely to be a large and powerful hurricane at landfall in Florida, with life-threatening hazards at the coastline and well inland, according to the National Hurricane Center. It says current forecasts weaken Category 5 Milton to a Category 3 storm at the time of landfall on Wednesday night. Hurricane categories only consider wind speeds, so while a weaker storm could reduce wind damage near the core of the storm, other impacts are more locked in, such as Milton will dump heavy flooding rain on the state, spreading damaging winds across Florida, create dangerous rip currents, and create potentially record-breaking storm surge, which could be worsened by its growing size. Surge could begin in Florida well before landfall as Milton's size and wind field expand while it weakens. It says hurricane.
What he just said is a Category 5 right now. Now, mind you, this thing went from a category first. It went from a tropical storm. It skipped 1 and 2. It skipped category 1 and 2 ain't get no love. It went from a tropical storm to 3. And then within an hour, 4. And then 45 minutes later, 5. 5. Now you got this hurricane barreling towards Florida. And what he's saying is, once it hit land, it's supposed to die down a bit. But the thing is, by the time it hit land, it's supposed to spread out wider than it was, so it's gonna bring more damage. Though it might. That's the thing. It might slow down, but regardless, it's gonna spread out, so it's gonna cover more area of damage.
Hurricane Katrina went through a similar process in 2005. It weakened from a Category 5 to a Category 3 at landfall, but that didn't alter its devastating surge. It says
You see that?
up to 12 feet of storm surge is possible from the Bonita Beach area up to nearly the Big Bend region. Several feet of surge are possible along the rest of the state's coast. Now, here's the reason why this is such a big deal. People hear that it's a Category 3 that was just upgraded to a Category 5. Now they're concerned. Now they're panicked. This is why millions are preparing to leave the state. But experts are saying that we are going to see many lives lost because of the misinterpretation of this hurricane. When it goes from a Category 3 up to a Category 5, it's more intense. You need to be worried. You need to be well aware of what's going on. But when then you hear the media come out and say that, okay, but it's going to be weakened once it makes landfall. That may be the case, but experts say it's going to increase in size. Like I just said, there will be lives lost. The storm surge is what's going to take most lives because people aren't going to leave. They want to stay. That could be a mistake. This is why millions.
I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna put all these videos and everything in the chat so y'all can watch the rest of them, just hitting little points. So he's saying a lot of people willing to stay because they saying, oh, well, if it's gonna weaken when they hit landfall, we good. It's a 3. And that could be a mistake. But you also have people leaving, and now Florida running out of gas is what they saying, parts of Florida, not saying the whole state, but the parts that's looking to be affected.
We are now in a state of emergency. And according to experts, they are reporting that millions of Americans are about to be stranded. Now, I want to break down what's going on and why this new hurricane, Hurricane Milton, is actually going to cause more disruption than any other hurricane before. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment. But all I ask is one thing, takes 2 seconds, go more disaster and more loss of life than what we saw with the past hurricane, Hurricane Helene. That we saw about.
Again, think about what he just said. This was supposed to be worse than Hurricane Helene. Now look at this woman, her right here. You see? From the 2 minutes we played on what she explained, what they going through out there in North Carolina, and the pictures we showed, even I'm sure videos brother showing out there. Them people going through it. It's supposed to be worse than that, and it's coming a couple days later. And look, let's pray it is. As long as the brothers, the believers out there towards their way, Yahweh Shah protect them. As long as they saved, then hey, shit. Let's pray it's worse, man. We hope these events hit and it start crippling these Americans.
$34 billion in losses. $34 billion. And obviously, we saw a lot of loss of life. There's still people that are being searched for. But I want to show you this. Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency for Hurricane Milton. Now, what exactly does that mean, and how is this going to help? Well, we'll address that in just a moment. But look at this. Hurricane Milton has now strengthened into a Category 5 hurricane.
Skip it up a little bit. I ain't have my timestamp ready. Let's play right here.
But the hurricane is actually going to be wider. It's going to hit more area. Now, this is a huge, huge story. And this is the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention now, is because experts have been telling us millions of people in Florida and the surrounding area could be stranded. Look at this right here. These are just people on Twitter or X. It says gas stations in Lakeland, Florida right now are mostly out of gas. We were lucky enough to find a gas station with some gas, but there are 2 different lines to get in here. So it's full of people. Get your supplies today. I wouldn't count on things being very available tomorrow. This person says, pray the gas pump doesn't run out. I've been to 5 gas stations and waited in line for 30 minutes to get this pump. This person says, Milton, my oldest, lives in Florida, so this is hard. He lives in Gainesville and says that I-75 is already packed, and so are the gas stations. Travel safe, everyone. And then, alert hearing from a reliable source that Florida residents on the Gulf Coast who are evacuating to the north on I-75 are finding no fuel. Nearly all gas stations wiped out. Vehicles will soon be stalled on the interstate, blocking evacuations, already bumper-to-bumper traffic.
And that's something that we usually see on the end time, end time movies. You know, it always got a row of cars just stuck on the highway and nobody in them. Whether it's like what's that movie? The series Walking Dead. You know, got straight just cars just left there. You know, or the Book of Eli, the road, you got cars just left there. Right, these examples. In a time of a plague, in a time of need, you ran out of gas, or if you got an electric car, the grid down. Right now you can't start it. But these are examples of that. People trying to flee, but they can't go nowhere. And then it ain't like they could make a U-turn and go check another one. They gone, and it ain't like you could just get out of traffic. Traffic backed up. So you see these people panicking. They don't know what's about to happen. Yeah, hey, let's play.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing. Now, we have seen so many different reports over the past, several hours, but the main thing you need to understand is that this is exactly what's going on. This is what we're facing. And look at this. I want to show you this one as well. It says today, 2 gas stations were sold out of gas in Central Florida. That was almost a day ago. Okay, that was yesterday. I finally found a racetrack gas station that had fuel. Everyone was filling gas cans. It's a shopping frenzy. I tried getting groceries, and there was a 30-minute wait to find a parking spot. Yeah, that's what
food too
we're facing. People are struggling to get out. Number one, they're trying to evacuate because that is what experts are telling them to do. But, and again, let me show you this. Okay, this is right here.
Look at the
This
store.
is just from yesterday. Okay, let me go back so you can see it. Okay, look at this video right here. You can see in just a second. This is what's going on. Stores are empty. There's nothing. People are trying to get food in their homes just in case they get locked in, okay, in case they're stuck. And again, I want to bring this to your attention because for all those people that went through Hurricane Helene, for all those people that stayed in Florida, or stayed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, wherever, stayed in the path of Hurricane Helene, for all you guys that did that and you made it through and you were safe, right? You may have seen some, there might have been some issues. You might have lost some of your property, your goods or whatever. But as long as you didn't lose your life, for those people that made it through, maybe you're thinking, this isn't worth it. I got to get out of here. Because according to experts now, they're telling us not only should you evacuate any coastal area, but evacuate any areas that are close to a stream, a river, a lake. Get out. Because those places could be flooded soon as well. Now, here's why so many people are talking about this. Okay. Number one, this is going to be one of the biggest hurricanes that we see this year, according to experts. They say that in the past hurricanes that we've seen, and the last one where people are really trying to differentiate between the two of these is Hurricane Irma, I believe.
All right, so that's it on that one. I was just putting it in the chat. So that's the videos right there in the chat for y'all. Let's see. I'm gonna get the brother precepts. And Shalom Tala Akim Akwath, who tuning in. Yahweh Shema Shabrak Thumb. Hey, Shalom to the Elder Hawad as well. Let's see what brothers got. Hey, Shalom to the brother Alawab. And the brother say, some say it's turned into a category 6 at 180 miles per hour. Damn, I don't think hey, well, Lord willing to do it. I wouldn't be surprised when times like never before, right? The Lord said in Sirach 36, he gonna make new signs and show other strange wonders. These are part of those things, man, whether it's nature or not. The Lord control that, man. 2nd Ezra 16:5. Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? Right? They're not slack. The Lord don't care that last week you still got people suffering from Hurricane Helene. So you know what? I'm gonna hold Milton off. I'm gonna hold Milton off till y'all get right. No, he don't care. They coming. Amos 3:6. Shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord have not done it? And the Lord have done it. But right, so I got one more video we could play, and that's pretty much it. So this from Redacted. I ain't gonna lie, I try to save these for the Thursday live, but hey, it's happening, it's happening. And then it's supposed to hit Wednesday, so we'll see. Hey, Lord willing, we do an update on the results of it. But let's play this real quick. This was put out 10 hours ago from Redacted. Clayton and Natalie Morris. So it says, the title is the government controlling Hurricane Milton, a category 5 storm. Let's play a little bit of it.
Alexa,
I'm gonna speed it up too.
You tell me about Hurricane Milton? Yeah, and Alexa will tell you about Hurricane Milton in the past tense, which is remarkable. Even Amazon's Alexa can already tell you that Hurricane Milton has strengthened to a hurricane and has wrought destruction.
Right, we played. That's the first video we played right there. That's in the chat. You got Alexa. If y'all just tuning in, you got Alexa saying, and if y'all haven't seen this already, you have Alexa saying what type of Hurricane Milton was, as if, say, if you was to ask somebody about Katrina and who was there, well, that was a bad hurricane. It did this, it did that. Well, Alexa talking already in past tense. AI, Esau, right? As if it already happened.
Alexa's amazing, isn't it? It's really amazing how these tools work these days. I mean, even it's remarkable. Anyway, how many of you have tried that little skill? Of course, that's been going viral over the past 20.
And y'all let me know if it's too fast, because I sped it up. But let me know if it's too fast, I'll slow it back down.
4 hours when you ask Alexa about Hurricane Milton. Before it even became a hurricane, it seemed to have already been updated in its database. It's remarkable stuff, how this all works. Well, it's already being called a record-breaking hurricane that's about to slam into Florida. People across the southern part of the United States are being told to leave and to brace themselves. Florida residents being told to get out right now. I mean, how many of you are watching right now that live in that area are planning to leave? Let us know. Sewers and water are already being turned off. Schools are closed and more are closing. All of this is happening as early voting is happening. Absentee voting is already happening across the South. So we'll have more on that in a second, but here's the latest.
In the meantime, let's ride our video monitors down to the state of Florida. That state is once again in a path of life-threatening hurricane. We're talking about Milton that's now strengthened to a monster there in the Atlantic, a Category 5 storm. So evacuations are now underway just a day after Hurricane Helene wreaked havoc across the state, or days after. Governor DeSantis calling on all counties there to speed up debris removal ahead of Milton's landfall.
Local officials and their vendors must continue debris removal efforts for those areas that are in the eye of potential path of this storm. My executive order requires debris landfill and dump sites to remain open 24/7 to accept debris from Hurricane Helene. We need as much of this debris picked up as possible. This creates a safety hazard, and it also will increase the damage that Milton could do with flying debris.
Right. So now we're dealing with all of the debris from Hurricane Helene that's still there in big piles. We're talking all sorts of, plywood and wood, 2x4s, and car debris and shingles and everything else. It's just in big piles right now. Aluminum siding, things like that, all in big piles, which could be then projectiles for this new storm. So perfect fodder for this new storm, perfect projectile. So overnight, Hurricane Milton went from a Category 3 to a 4 within an hour. And then within another hour, it became a Category 5. According to Into Thin Air, maybe the fastest move ever seen in the Gulf of Mexico. The thing is turning into a beast, and it's heading right into another storm that could also merge and then smash right into Florida. Bizarre swirling radar anomalies are...
Now, what if that happened? Milton couldn't link up with another storm.
Also, once again, present here, just like we saw with Hurricane Helene. These same weird patterns from these radar signatures. And it's asking many people right now, or people are wondering if this hurricane is being controlled or geoengineered on purpose. We put up a poll here so far. 94% of you in our audience, 94% say that this is that weather can be manipulated for sure. So take a look. This is the hurricane track over the last few hours. It's highly unusual for the hurricane to intensify from a Category 3 to a 4 to a 5 within 1 hour. Meaning it became a Category 3 and then 1 hour later became a Category 4 and then less than an hour later becomes a Category 5. Very rare. Media, of course, across Florida right now telling you to get out right now.
The Ready, Set, Go is a great idea of who's going to be feeling impacts, but you'll notice areas here where we're talking about evacuations and final preparations, maybe boarding up the house. You have areas through Pinellas County, by the way.
I'm going to speed it up a little bit.
West-northwest of Progreso, Mexico, a Category 5, massive beast of a storm.
So this the path of it. This is where it's supposed to be headed toward. That's the path of it. Now we'll see what's gonna happen. Keep our eyes out for it, because it has some more information in this video, but I'm gonna kind of wind it down, because what they go into is, and which is neither here nor there, because at the end of the day, we know the Lord is doing all this. Whether Esau modifying it with his harp or not. Because if he's doing it, then the Lord using him to do it, as it says in Psalms, that the Most High, that the wicked is the Most High sword, But nevertheless, just keep our eye out for it. It's supposed to be making landfall tomorrow at around 7-8 p.m. as you see right here, and it could pick up, it could die down a bit, but nevertheless, it's coming, man. Days after Hurricane Helene did damage, But that's pretty much it on that. Let me see.
That's heading right toward, and who knows whether this will be
precept.
whether this will be downgraded from a 4 to a 3 or whether it will sustain at a 5. A lot of people saying there's a lot of similarities here between this track of Hurricane Charlie back in 2004, right before the election in 2004. But of course, that one came from a little bit south of Key West and came right up along the coastline to that direction. This is coming obviously from the Mexico direction here. And before you call it conspiracy theory, we did a whole deep dive last week here on the show.
Now this in a video where I was gonna get good at, but what he gonna go into is how election year and the 2 states that's getting hit was Republican. Well, Trump went to a Trump like North Carolina, Florida. That's 2 important states for Trump. So if that's taken out the way, then all he need, I think they said North Carolina, all they need is like 25,000 votes for Kamala. But they gonna dig into it. I just put it in the chat. You can check it out. If you want to. But let's get this real quick. This Jeremiah chapter 30. This is a time when things about to get different in the earth. Everything about to increase, the intensity of it, right? So on and so forth. Jeremiah 30:7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it." I ain't just talking about one day, a Tuesday. No, it says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble." It's a time. Not just one day. These plagues gonna hit back to back. And look, it's gonna get worse as it go on. Tomorrow gonna be worse than what today is. Well, it actually is, because that's when Hurricane Milton go hit. Supposed to hit. But the point is, every day gonna be worse, as we got earlier, like a woman in travail. The closer she get to that child coming out, the contractions don't let up. They don't get easier. No, they get closer together and they hurt more. So that's the time when these hurricanes start hitting, and the next event is gonna get worse every day until the day of Yahweh Shai coming back, which is the best day for us, but the worst day for this world, man. So alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. We're in a different time. We're in a different time period, man. It says, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Let's get one more. Second Ezra, one of my favorite ones, but this the time we're in. Second Ezra 14, and straight to the point. Now this was an angel telling Ezra that he was almost at the end of the world, and this was around 400 something BC, 400 something years before Yahweh Shai came on the scene. So if Ezra was because the angel told him, look, it's 10 parts in the world, in world history is 12 parts in world history, right? It's 12 parts, and he told Ezra that you was in a 10.5 part. 10.5 part. So if Ezra was in a 10.5 part 400 years or so before Yahweh Shai was born, what part are we at? 2,000 years later after Yahweh Shai. We got to be in the end of the 12th part. So in other words, seeing we at the end of the world, this the mindset we told Ezra. Verse 13, 2 Ezra 14 and 13. Now therefore set thine house in order and reprove thy people, and comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of men, and put off now the weak nature. Right? See, a lot of I won't say necessities, because these little things that a cell phone and all these things ain't necessities, but the people possessions. When these things happen, like the hurricane, people possessions go be taken away. They gonna be worried about that. Now again, we in the flesh, we gonna feel some type of way if these things happen to us, but we know it is what it is. We ain't looking to grow old here in America. We know these things will be taken away. These people don't. So they ain't gonna know how to react once they prized possessions is taken from them. And how much more real necessities, food, water, shelter, clothes. See, that's the things we thinking about, right? Well, not as far as food, water, shelter, and clothes. I'm talking about, we think about these plagues coming so we can get out of here. These people worried about the now. So when the now is disrupted by plagues, what's going to happen to them? So it says, let go from the mortal thoughts. Cast away. I'm sure when that hurricane hit, you had some people in the hurricane wonder like, man, I got to call my boss to tell him I can't come in today. You see? Let me call my boss to tell him let me take a PTO for this week. Man, look, if something hit, I ain't worried about no boss. I'm glad we ain't gotta go to work. We ain't gotta go to work. Come on, man. But it says, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. And it's going to tell us why the next two verses, why we're going to haste to get out of this time. More so because we got a kingdom coming. But it says, and haste thee to flee from these times. That's why. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. The point is, things going to get worse from here on out. If anybody looking for it to get better, they not in the right spirit. Or if anybody wanted to get better, they ain't in the right spirit. God bless America. You ain't in the right spirit. God, hey, pray for those over there. And now we praying for our brothers and our sisters that's in these locations that this hurricane gonna hit, or like North Carolina, well, Helene here. We pray for our brothers and sisters, the believers. Everybody else, shit, have at it. Have at it, We're in a time of man, it's about to be different. For Yahweh Shah to prophesy about that and quote that as well, that it's gonna be a time like never before. It's about to be different in the world. We're about to see a lot of new stuff, different things, strange things. So we, even probably us at times, gonna be scratching our head like, man, is that CGI? Is that is that a deep fake? Is it? Yeah. Hey, we about to see some freaky things in this last time, man. The Lord about to turn it up. Sirach 36, he said he go bring new signs and show other strange wonders, things that haven't happened before. And even these hurricanes, they saying we ain't never see this before. Within 2 hours, it went from a category. Again, it skipped 1 and 2. It skipped category 1 and 2. It went from a tropical storm to category 3. An hour later, it's a category 4, and 40 minutes later, it's a 5. We in new times, man. 2nd Ezra 14 and 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. So as the day go on, worse gonna happen. We definitely in that time, man. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I put all the videos in the chat, and it's a good video right here. You're going into the election, how this storm or these hurricanes could be building blocks to either offset the election or swinging it to the vote of Kamala. But nevertheless, whatever happened, it's the Lord will, and we should be excited about it. You see. But and a lot of these plays about to hit these Edomites. But we're gonna end it right there. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying with that. And Tawada Akin for tuning in, brothers with the precepts, Tawada. We're gonna end it right there. Matter of fact, the brother put Isaiah 29. Let's get that again. I found me a translation that say hurricane. Let's get that again, because these are judgments. So look out for tomorrow, man. See what this Hurricane Milton do. This is the Young's literal translation. Isaiah 29 and 6. By Yahweh of hosts, thou art inspected with thunder and with an earthquake and great noise. And what else? For the topic of the lesson, and with hurricanes. Hurricane. And whirlwind and a flame of devouring fire. So these are events that's being sent by the Lord as plagues upon this world, man. But a Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rachak Wadash, and double honors once again unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. Keep fighting, keep pushing, and we almost out of here. And with that, shalom.